The devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
All right, everybody, welcome to another Crimes After Dark. You got a wave. It looked like I got a wave backstage already, letting me know that you guys can hear me. Fantastic. It's good to have my panelists backstage waving like the hands in the air like they just don't care. It's a Friday night. Got a lot of weird shit going on behind stage. Anyways, I'm not even drinking on a Friday night, even though Friday nights tend to be a night that I tend to like tip a few. But anyways, we're just going to take it easy. I've been super, super busy. Those of you who don't know, I've been doing full, huge minute-by-minute analysis of the Brent Copaka shooting from the 911 call all the way through to, so far, we've done all the way through to the end of Brent Copaka's life and the shooting at the around 4 o'clock in the morning. Tragic event. We can talk about that with the panelists. Not everybody on my panel has sat there for the full duration from start to finish. I have now. Now I haven't stayed with the aftermath. We after 5 hours of streaming to get to the point where he passed, I didn't stay to hear all the talk and things that happened afterwards. So there's still some work to be done, but I feel pretty exhausted. I've done multiple streams of 4 hours or 5 hours, and that's not used. I'm not used to that. So I'm going to take a little break tomorrow and get some other stuff done that I need to get done. And then we'll go back and listen to some stuff that I'm going to talk to you about tonight that I feel like we need to still need to talk about. And yes, and as Amanda says in the chat, there's still an hour left of after effect, at least, to listen to, meaning officers talking about confirming the death and the things. And so we haven't heard all of that yet. We just pretty much played through where we're certain he did get shot. And again, we'll talk about that here as a panel in just a few minutes. Let's bring our panelists up on stage in the order that they're here. We don't have JJ from State of the Deep yet, but we do have the amazing Dago. A little self-grooming there on camera. How you doing tonight, Dago?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you.
Good to see you. And
good to see you tonight as well.
Yeah, it's good to see you and your crew. I see people from your chat mixed with our chat. It's a beautiful thing. I love your chat mixed with my chat. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So,
and yes,
as always,
brushing my beard out. Yes,
that's amazing. That's great. Yeah, no, I never went full beard. I tried it once and it just didn't work for me. And then I tried to shave it off. That also didn't work for me. So I've been a freaking goatee for like my entire life. It feels like, except for high school. I think I didn't.
I gotta look pretty for all these amazing people. So.
What did you feel, by the way, about the and thanks for the gift, by the way. I see that we got a oh, that was on your side. Thanks for giving Dago a gift. I can still thank them for giving you a gift.
Yeah, thank
But
you
anyways,
very
so,
much. I thank them for you as well. Yes, thank
I
you.
hope that you enjoyed that opportunity with Ali Benevento last night. That was a great show.
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I've watched her before, like I said. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm looking forward to the next time that you have her on board, possibly. She's very insightful, very, very intelligent. And I like that she's so down to earth. Most attorneys, a lot of people were kind of like, you get that fractured sense of personality from some. She's real like the rest of us folks, and I really enjoy her sense of humor and she's just there. She's real, so
it was funny because I think I knew her as a South Carolina lawyer, and then when she mentioned something about being a New York girl, and then I watched her go after one, and I was like, oh, it was almost getting awkward. It was almost like, holy shit, she's got a beef with NYPD. Speaking of that, let's get one on the screen. Did you take that personally when Ali was like, oh, it's you and you NYPD?
Yeah, that was great. It was great.
Good, definitely. He's definitely something else.
Hello, denizens. Hi, Dago. Hi, boss.
How are you, sir?
She was a little spicy meatball with you last night. It was fun.
It was great. It was great.
Yes.
I got some PTSD after watching after hearing a phone ring 1,000 times.
Oh my gosh!
We'll get into it. I won't.
Yeah, that phone ring. Yeah, we will get into that. Let's get the rest of our panel up on stage. But do you have anything special you want to say before?
First, I know my wife, my son, and my daughter are watching. So
very cool.
I know you don't. I know you have no idea what I'm doing, Juliana. But hello. I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. He wanted to. He goes crazy. He sees me on stage, and then he goes to bed. So
that's cool. That's very cool.
They love 1-1 in Jersey. That's for sure.
All right. It's good to be alive on a Friday in the den. All right.
Yeah.
They tell you the truth is simple, clean, settled. They tell you the case is closed. The answers are known, and nothing else matters. They're lying because the truth is rarely convenient and never unanimous. This is where certainty fractures, where confidence erodes, where the story you were handed starts to fall apart. This isn't about conspiracy, it's about control. Who speaks first, who speaks loudest, and who never gets heard at all. Every investigation chooses a direction. Every narrative leaves footprints. And every conclusion requires something to be ignored. That's not paranoia, that's process. Here, we slow it down, we rewind the moments brushed aside. We dissect assumptions dressed up as facts. And we question the questions themselves. Not to provoke, not to shock, but because justice that can't be challenged was never justice to begin with. We don't defend monsters, we defend scrutiny. We don't chase outrage, we chase contradictions. We take the argument nobody wants to hear and push it until it breaks or proves it deserves to stand. Because innocence isn't decided by consensus and guilt isn't proof, it's persuasion. So if you're looking for comfort, this isn't your place. If you're willing to sit with uncertainty, to examine the shadows between the facts, to acknowledge that truth doesn't always align with belief, then you're exactly where you belong. This is Devil's Advocates, where the narrative is challenged, where doubt is necessary, and where the truth has to survive the fire. And with that, live from New York, it's Friday night.
All right. Yay. Nice. All right. Very, very, very cool. So thank you so much. And it's good to have you in the house as usual. And tonight you don't have Ali attacking you. And it was a great moment. I loved watching her flip through some shit. It was hilarious. I got to pull some stuff off of Robin's face and get our screen cleaned up. How you doing, Robin?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Good to see all you gentlemen as always, and to be here in the den. Hello
Who
to
do
all
you
the
mean?
denizens. Hello to all the blue crew. Hello to all the meatballs over there in the sauce. So glad you could all be with us this evening.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great to see you, and I noticed you're looking a little special today. You've had a makeover. You got yourself some self love and looking great. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah,
good to
well,
see you.
thank
And
you.
Looking
yeah,
amazing.
and I'm excited to do another evening of our Crimes After Dark. Do you have anything special that happened today that you want to talk about, other than maybe the obvious, which is you got yourself
No,
some makeover? But yeah,
no, this was it, and this was just enough. So I'm good.
it makes you always feel good to getting a little
It
special
does. And
treatment sometimes.
Robin was a little shaggy. Robin needed some
Well, it's perfect. So thank you so much. And
Thank
let's
you.
get so while we were talking, we did get
There he
joined by
is.
JJ and Joe from State
Hey,
of the Deep. How you
Jay.
doing tonight?
What's up, everybody? I got to
Are
get
you
rid of
looking
the
a little?
red face again.
There he
There
I
is.
was
we
gonna
go.
say you were
That's
looking a little
better.
red. You were looking a little red.
He
There
always
Yeah.
comes in with
you
such
go.
a great devil's tan, and then
I know. I like the devil look a little
Yeah.
bit, but it's too red. It's like
Right.
blends in with my background too much. What's up, DA? 1-1. Well done on the intro. Robin, you're looking hot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank
Good
you,
to
sir.
see you again, brother.
you too,
Hello
brother.
to the den and the blue crew and the meatballs as well.
And by the way, we're looking forward to I mean, Robin spent a lot of time, and we love this sizzle reel, but Dago helped us with a new song that we're going to debut in a while. It's going to be a little while, but we're going to put together a sizzle reel, and we're going to tease some. So we got so many talented people putting together shit behind the scenes that I can't wait to unroll or unveil some surprises. So make sure you like and subscribe and all that cool stuff, because you never know what night we're going to just all of a sudden roll a new sizzle reel, and it'll be really cool. And it won't be necessarily replacing. I think we should have a rotation of different sizzle reels. So we're not going to get rid of any. I think we'll just have a rotation of some different cool stuff that might play from night to night and mix it up a little bit, make it exciting. And I don't know.
Thank you, Miss Jana, again for that super chat. God bless. Very much appreciated.
So let's talk, guys. Before I get into the Copaka shooting, so and again, for those who aren't familiar, this panel talks about all of my cases, but a lot of times one case in particular tends to dominate. I anticipate this is going to be a lot of Idaho 4, because that case is over, remember? So why are we still talking about it? But anyways, the point being is that I know the Gonzalez's, right? They have filed their lawsuit against WSU, and some of you have read some of the documents. I haven't read it yet. I've gotten some summaries.
Oh boy!
Do you want to
Don't get me going, buddy. This is just like the fog lights thing with me.
Yeah, it's I know Dago's is going to be very passionate, so I'll let him give his input on this. But what I could say is, I understand that they have a certain time limit or whatever, and I get that they want to make a lawsuit, but I mean, you see the stuff that's put in there, and one of the huge trigger things too. I have not any of my kids, thankfully, but I do have a close family member that does have autism, that's on the spectrum. And for them to put a comment, for them to write, they basically have all these numbers, in the lawsuit. And for them to write that, someone will put it, I guess we could show it. I forget what number it was, but they basically said that someone that has autism is more likely to stalk someone. I don't know.
Were they using statistics, or were they just kind of pulling those kind of paragraphs out of their ass?
It just says it's just a line. It says
it's just a statement.
They pulled it out of their ass.
Yeah,
and unbelievable. It's just absolutely disgusting.
And they had a lawyer. Draft that for them, right? And the lawyer just did the whole autism people are more likely to be stalkers. And why would they use the word stalker? Brian Koberger, they literally said wasn't stalking the girls.
Well, that's a key. It's a key point what you're saying right there. There's multiple times that they mention stalking, all kinds of stuff. But I know that I'll let Dago talk.
I was reading through it, and I got down, and I stopped through the entire thing and explain different points they're making. And it's mostly, sorry guys, my camera's not focused. It's a lot of lies, and a lot of bullshit. Okay, and I'm gonna warn everybody in here. My mouth is gonna go. the Sicilian comes out of me on this one. They made a statement. I think it was number 48. Okay, and
Something
they said
like that. Yeah.
that people that are diagnosed with autism are more likely to stalk and murder people. Okay.
Wow.
I have an autistic child back here. Okay.
Yeah.
I fucking went nuts because I'm tired of it, and I pulled the ADA up, the American Disability Act, which it absolutely violates the American Disability Act 100%. It's insane to me because that's an absolute bullshit lie. They pulled that straight out of their ass, and it's not true. Okay, I know many autistic people, children. They're amazing people. That doesn't.
That's why I'm stunned. I'm stunned. They had a lawyer help draft that. They literally tried to make a statement that autism is more likely to be a stalker, and that's something that no lawyer should have signed off on putting that out.
I can't believe a lawyer. I can't believe a lawyer put his name to that.
Shame on them. Whoever that is, yes. I mean, you look at the name. I may end up sending a letter to their office.
It's disgusting. Really disgusting. I mean, that was the worst. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other contradictions and stuff.
Yes.
But that was the worst. That was the absolute worst line.
Yes, 100%, Amanda, absolutely. And it's insane. My son is one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, okay? I can't even describe it, okay? To hear something like that tells me that you're specifically targeting somebody with a disability.
Yeah.
And is this what we're looking to in the future? Do we get to look forward to this in the future? And I'm not fucking playing with it. I'm just not. So...
No.
It's disturbing on many. It's disturbing on many levels. Again, it's disturbing because even the prosecution said there was no evidence of stalking. They had to correct that and said there was no evidence he was stalking him. So how dare they put out a document suggesting that he's more likely to have been a stalker? That's a mistake in the first place. Blaming autism as being the cause of stalking, that also is disgusting because again, in the whole, I mean, if this had gone to trial, his autism, if that was true, right, with that, if would have been a mitigating factor for the death penalty because the jury would have been more likely to execute him because he just doesn't look right, and so they would have to explain to a jury his medical condition because they're going to be more likely to, just like I hear at the coffee table. Well, that creepy guy, look at how creepy he is. Of course he killed him. He looks creepy. That kind of shit is a problem in our country. Yeah. And people don't understand that having a flat affect doesn't make you a killer.
No, and that's what this document does. Essentially, to me, it just underscores the fact that somehow, some way, you can magically look at someone and tell whether they are a stalker or a serial killer or any kind of criminal at all, just by the way that they look. And it's just absolutely disgusting.
Do you have it backstage, the document?
I do.
I do.
Even if we just
if you want to post it, yeah.
Even if we highlighted that part.
The irony is, like, look at Ted Bundy, this charming women thought he was good looking, he was educated, he was gregarious. It's popular, that kind of statement. I tend to think that that's just designed to get attention. We know that Steve G loves attention, and I believe that kind of stuff is just designed to stir shit. Because what lawyer would make a statement like that?
How can a lawyer put his name to that?
I can't believe it. Yeah.
In light of the facts
I
of
hope
the case,
this thing goes to court.
I do. For that reason, right there alone.
Right. And I hope WSU just annihilates the shit out of that case.
It sounds. I mean, again, I don't want to speak out my ass because I didn't read it, but it sounds the way you guys are presenting it like it starts out as short shit and doesn't get much better.
All kinds of contradictions and all kinds of shit about. Oh, they mentioned stalking multiple times. Like, what are you talking about?
And the key takeaway.
I thought we heard at the plea, right? And
the key takeaway that I want to know is because I asked one this, so I want to ask Dago. Was there anything, if you read the whole thing, was there anything in that document that gave us a new insight to the case that we didn't hear? Like some shocking revelation that you're saying, by the way, this is something that didn't come out in public, but it proves that Brian Koberger was a stalker. Like, did they say some new piece of information?
Nothing, but there's some other pieces of information that if you want to talk about this tonight, I'm going to throw some things at you that are kind of important in my opinion that we've been looking into. So
let's do it live. Let's go. Do it.
Do it live. Absolutely. Let me find this statement for you though, because I'm gonna at least the page that it's on. It's sickening. And you won't even believe it until you see it in black and white. I can't believe that an attorney of all people put his name on this, knowing that
that's what I'm having problems with already. Yeah,
it's sickening, but it's here in black and white. It's backstage, bud.
Why is it not letting me add it to the stage before presenting? Remove other media. Oh yeah, sure. Let's do that. There we go.
There we go. So it's all numbered, okay? And all this is set up is it's numbered in order to explain the reasoning behind the different things that they do at WSU and all the programs. This is another important part, though. I'll say this real quick. WSU has standard operating procedure and protocol in place to deal with situations such as what they're accusing WSU of doing and ignoring with people like Brian Koberger. Okay, they have these protocols in place. In turn, a college is not going to ignore these accusations and just keep on living life day after day, going to school every day without looking into this, knowing the lawsuits that they could face for allowing this to happen. So there's that first and foremost. But reading through just a couple of these, the highest rates of stalking are experienced by students 18 to 24 years of age. Sure. Most stalkers are also students. Okay. Stalkers on college campuses are more likely to be acquaintances of the victim, such as classmate, friend, or someone else they recognize. Those diagnosed with autism spectrum disorders are also more likely to engage in stalking behavior.
Well, there it is. Yeah.
So stop. I mean, I already have a problem with 42. Over and over again, there is no connection between Koberger and any of the students that were in the murder. They said that repeatedly. We can find no connection between him. Why are you even listing? Well, he's most likely to have known the victims, but he didn't. Like, they literally told you he didn't. They have no connection. Why would you even put that in your lawsuit that he's more likely to have known the victims? But they literally told you he didn't know the victims. Then they're like, well, he's more likely to be a stalker. They literally told you he wasn't stalking any of the girls. Like, what is this? What is this document even doing?
It's telling a whole slew of lies and trying to give them a reason to go. Listen, I'm going to say this. This is my own personal opinion. This is either one, a huge fucking money grab, or two, they're in a roundabout way trying to get more discovery. And I kind of respect that side to it. But to do it this way and to throw anybody that is on spectrum under the bus that way, you need your fucking head kicked. I'm sorry, but you do. So that's the most important statement here, Lee. That's the worst statement I saw within this whole thing. And it's sickening to me. It's absolutely sickening.
It is. It's shameful to people with autism to even kind of imply that if you have autism, you're more likely to be. They're trying to basically say you're more likely to be a stalker and a killer and a psycho because you have autism, and that right there was disgusting off the bat. And then on top of that, it literally flies in the face of the prosecution, who told you there's no evidence he knew any of the girls. There's no evidence that there was stalking, and yet they're putting it as major points in their lawsuit. What in the actual flipping hell is going on there?
Crazy. I mean,
it's sickening. Because now you're putting somebody with a disability in a box and saying, yeah, they are. And again, this is bullying. This is absolutely bullying.
It is.
Like I said,
it is.
I pulled up the ADA, the American Disability Act, and it absolutely violates it based on the fact that it's education. This is bullying, like I said, and you're taking somebody and you're taking them, they're already dealing with a situation, and you're putting them on the outside so that they can be picked on and separated from the pack. You know what I'm saying? There's a word for it. I can't think of it, but segregating them. There we go.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely against the ADA. So I hope this is either thrown out or there's a countersuit filed, because this is sickening to me. Absolutely sickening to me.
Yep.
Well, and I mean, at first we talk about, well, we can't believe that a lawyer put their name to it or helped draft it. And then I'm thinking to myself, the counter to that is you live in America and you can sue anybody for anything. So you're allowed to sue somebody if your coffee's too hot, for Pete's sake.
Yes,
so
we
live in a litigious society.
But DA, it's also What would the response be from the mainstream? He pled guilty.
Right. So, well, yeah, I get it all the time.
That gives them a window of opportunity to say things that are not true because they're less likely to be called out
because he pled guilty.
Oh, the guy, he pled guilty to a quadruple homicide. So that gives them the leeway to say certain things that are not accurate.
Yeah.
You know, for that very reason.
Not even not accurate, just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's ignorant. Yeah. It's ignorant. Yeah. Well, wow. What else? Is there anything else about that document, or is it just a load of horseshit? I mean, so the gist of the document, right, is is it the Gonzalveses that are suing WSU?
All of them.
It's
all the families. So okay, so collectively they're doing this whole group thing. And the idea is that WSU should have saw this coming. They should have. They had a responsibility to identify a psycho on campus. Yeah. They saw the warning signs and they didn't stop it. Therefore, the university is responsible for what happened because they could have stopped it if they had followed their procedures. Is kind of what the argument is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then they mentioned some girl, right, had an argument or something with him.
Yeah.
That she was upset. Like they're taking a lot of stuff out of context.
And I will say something else too. And Wade Bird just commented on this, and it's something I've been thinking about for a while. She said, in my opinion, someone from WSU or an agency cop called in the Kohberger tip, and I'm truly on board with that now. With all of the accusational shit that is in this document about multiple people claiming that Kohberger was spatially trapping them, doing this, being weird, being that, being blah, 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 blah. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe now that somebody from WSU may be part of who called the tip in on him and said, hey, I think it's this guy. You should come get him. 100%. That's my thought. And it does make perfect sense, Wade Bird. I got to tell you right now. So yes. That is where I think, and I don't think they're going to admit to it because I think it would make that. I think that the university doesn't want attached to it, but I think that's where it came from. Is my opinion. So,
have they attached a dollar amount what they're seeking for damages?
$400 million, my friend.
Okay, so $500 million. $500 million. Here's the thing that I have to wonder. If there's any teeth at all to the possibility that Brian Kohberger couldn't have done it because of fog lights or whatever, all of a sudden you might find WSU getting on board with, wait, maybe you guys got the wrong guy. And if you did, then you can't sue us for shit because that guy didn't do it. So now maybe the university is going to be motivated to be like, you're right. Maybe it wasn't Brian Kohberger. So fuck you guys. I'm not paying nothing.
And that could be the only thing good about this. Okay. Or the fact that we may get more discovery released on a civil suit. If it's shown, there's that. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe in a weird ass way, there's a silver lining to this. Maybe the university will be more inclined to question whether Kohberger really was the right guy and they got the right guy because now they're on the line or they're on the hook for $500 million in lawsuits, right? Over you didn't stop a killer. Well,
I just don't understand how they could. I know it's a, not as high of a degree that you have to prove, right? For civil, it's just the preponderance of evidence. It's not beyond reasonable doubt, and we understand all that. But what I don't understand is that we have an actual criminal court case, right? Okay, so he pled, but even in that, you have the lead prosecutor saying that we have no evidence of stalking. We find no connection. We found no pictures on his phone, on his computer, nothing. There's no relation. So how can they make a document like this saying, oh yeah, he was stalking? Like what? Like,
what
the hell are we talking about?
You know what else? One, you saying that stuff brings something else out too. They kind of screwed themselves in a sense with what they put in here, pointing out the different things found on his phone, certain types of pornography and college age girls being sexually assaulted, blah, 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 blah. All of this is in the wheelhouse of what Brian studied. So he should have access to those things. We should be seeing those things on his property. We should be seeing books like that in his library and on his phone and in his browser searches and all that. He's a criminology student, for Christ's sakes. That's normal. And they're pointing it out in this lawsuit and trying to make him look like a bad person. So did you expect him to have like Food Network bullshit on his phone or something, being a criminology student?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stupid.
Exactly.
Right.
And what? And he's a crazy bastard loser, right? Because they found porn stuff on. Are you kidding me? Let's go check. Let's go check all the phones at the university and see how much porn you find.
Well, this is a slap suit. This is what would be considered a slap suit.
Yeah.
So you can file a suit that has no basis. It's called the slap suit. And then the idea is you want the other party to settle. That's the whole purpose of a slap suit.
And thank you, JJ. If they
settle, they just want a settlement. Right. They just want a settlement. They don't plan on going to court. Yeah.
If they settle, then shame the fuck on them. That'll prove that this was a money grab, and they can. I have no condolence for that point at all whatsoever. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'll try to read through that myself if there's anything that I have to talk about, and I'll add some thoughts. I want to kind of transition us to a new thing, and I for one's sake, I want to preface the start of this conversation with this.
I
mean, would you would you pick up the phone? Dude, just come to the phone and answer the phone.
I'm gonna grab my holy water. Jesus.
Oh my God. God help us.
Anyone?
Brent, answer the phone. Brent, can you come to the door so we know you're okay and you're in there? Brent, please.
I crashed out
Good God.
watching that shit.
Oh man, you missed like another hour or two, JJ, after the same shit over and over again. Brent, come to the door.
We just need to know you're okay.
We want to help you. Don't worry, Brent. We're gonna help you. We just want to arrest you. Don't worry. You have nothing to worry about.
Come to the door so we can arrest you and end this. Yeah. Okay, guys.
I almost stroked out watching that shit.
I started falling asleep. That's why I had to leave. I was like, I'm sorry, Lee. I gotta go. I can't do it anymore.
Well, that's what's funny. You guys are all talking about how bad it was, and some of you left halfway through it. I listened to that fucking phone for 8 hours.
Yes.
So for those who aren't aware why we're reacting that way, they had a call rotation where pretty much every 3 minutes they would call a negotiator's phone and let it ring for 45 seconds, and then constantly they would tell Brent Copaka, pick up the phone, that phone's for you, you need to pick up that phone. And it happened every 3 minutes for 45 seconds, and it drove a lot of people batshit crazy. And they left the show because they couldn't handle listening to it anymore. And I sat through the whole fucking 8 hours of that phone going off every 3 minutes for 45 seconds of constantly, the phone's for you, Brent, pick up the phone.
The thing that kills me is they didn't try something different ever.
Yes.
They just kept doing the same thing again and again. And the guys in the background going, I think it's working. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure.
So this is the important point of I didn't see the last part. I guess you did it earlier today. I'll watch it, I guess, later.
Yeah.
The main point of what we watched. All right. So, I work for NYPD, obviously, and we have the Axon camera here, and this is the same thing as you guys reviewing obviously shootings and all this different stuff that goes on. We do the same thing here. We do it even on a smaller level, like a lot of the calls and stuff that you guys never get to see. Why? It's great training mechanism to show someone. Maybe someone they don't notice that, maybe when they did this stop, they were standing too close to the stairs, or they were standing in the middle of the street. Like, you get a lot of tunnel vision, a lot of stuff goes on. So it's great training to be able to review and even low level calls. But so, the common phrase that people say all the time, right? It's easy to, Monday night quarterback. You would do this, you would do that. What I can tell you, no, I am not a hostage negotiator. Yes, we do have them, of course, for, NYPD. I do not work for SWAT. However, I have been on scene many times with EMS, with people like Dago over there. And there are many jobs that do not have, there's only so many hostage negotiators, only so many, SWAT people and all these different people that really, the first officers on scene are going to be your normal patrol officers. So, when people forget that, like, when you have an active shooter, some guy goes crazy in a college or whatever campus, the first guys on scene are going to be the cops, the officers who are patrolling the area. They're first on scene. What I can tell you from my experience, so we all, even myself, patrol, I can't tell you what they do per se in other counties, districts, states. But I would be hard pressed to believe that they don't do some kind of special crisis management training. And with that in mind, now you're also talking about their elite special SWAT team or whatever that's been there, standing there 7 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours. They used really like zero crisis management techniques. None. I'm telling you, like absolutely zero. The only thing I'll say that they did that, but I don't really know, maybe Lee, I know Lee was trying to listen carefully. I'm not sure what info they really got. So at one point early on, they did call Brent's, like his close friend or his best friend or whatever, which is great. That is something that you would do. But I feel that the only thing that they got from that was trying to find out what condition or what, like, is this guy,
his medical history, whether
his medical history. Right, that's it. What they should have been asking, which is important. You do want to know some medical history, but what they should have also asked was, this guy, we think, we think he has a gun and he barricaded himself in this place. Is there anything that he likes? Does he like hockey? Does he like basketball? Does he like chocolate chip ice cream? Does he like,
they did none of that.
Bouncing breasts. Does he like? There's a million. There's a million.
Tickle bitties.
Anything.
Tickle bitties.
Listen. If he's like, this guy, he's a real son of a bitch, but you know what? He loves escorts. Okay, let's go get a freaking escort. Bring him over, and if that can make the situation safe, albeit what I could tell you. From my experience, we were talking about it last night. I know Dago was still in there. I've actually used this myself. I actually had just real quick without going too long in it. I had a situation once in Manhattan when I used to work there. This guy was huge on some kind of drug. I think he was like 6'8". Looked like he probably could bench like 1,000 pounds. I don't care how many cops you had jump on this guy. This guy would have caused damage. He was angry. I don't know what he was angry about. So I had a bunch of new cops, and everyone's like, they're like, EMS and the paramedics are like a half hour out. They were on some, an important job, or they couldn't get there. Half hour. How are we gonna contain this guy for a half hour? It's gonna be a shit show. What I did, I thought outside the box at the moment, and I decided I put on some hip hop song over the, we have a loudspeaker. So over the loudspeaker, I started playing music. What happened? The guy started dancing. Yeah. And yes, from the public, it may have looked like, look at these asshole cops. They're fucking making fun of him. They're laughing. Yeah, there were some cops that were laughing, but you know what? Yeah. Guess what? Because no cops got hurt. The guy didn't get hurt, and we were able to bide enough time until EMS got there. So they should have tried to use some kind of thing with music. Music. It doesn't always work, but at least try it. Try something.
Food.
Yeah. There's so many things that don't make sense.
Female officer, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million things.
They had a female officer on scene.
Yep.
And then the big person, we will mention, we were tagging on this thread. We do have, we kind of have a reason now why Payne from Moscow was there, because Payne is in charge of
the drone
program, and they had a problem with the drone, and Moscow, I guess, has more technology, more toys. So they were calling, they wanted some help from Moscow. So it makes sense for Payne to be there. Well, don't we know that Payne is part of the 82nd Airborne, that he served in the military? Why not?
So how do you not use that?
Why not use this guy? Maybe he can relate to him on a certain level. Like they just, as JJ said last night, it just, I agree with him 1,000%. I felt like they're just going through the motions. Like
it was meant to be.
They could care less about. I know they say, "Oh, we want to help you. We don't want to hurt you." No, bullshit.
It does not come off that way. They didn't try to. They did. From my opinion, guys, it didn't look. It looked like their point was, and Lee brought this up yesterday a couple times. I think you said it, where that they referred to the fact that they kept talking about taking him out. Well, I'm telling you, after what I heard last night and what we watched and listened to, it truly looks like that was the overall affect they were going for. Period. They weren't trying to shut it down. Guys, you guys have seen things on TV. You've seen hostage situations. One knows this. I know this from being on scene for these at EMS. After there's no sound coming from somebody within a situation that's holed up in a situation, they either storm the area or they have a way to check on him.
Yeah,
they went hours without any sound or movement from him, and didn't even think once to check on him. It makes no sense.
And I'll tell you what else. I'll tell you what else. The big thing that they should have changed too, other than besides also, and I'm sure Dago had. I think you kind of said something about it last night. I thought I heard you. Not only should they have tried, music, food, talking about sports, something, anything. Besides from that, all that stuff. The other thing that you need to try, and this has happened many times, and I always. This is one of the training that goes to the newer officers too, because sometimes again, people get like a tunnel vision and they get like this ego. So when we get a job, you have a job, the job is assigned to whatever, to a sector. So you're going to have 2 cops that are first on scene. So it's their job. They're mostly responsible. They're going to be responsible for the paperwork or the arrest or whatever. Now, they're on the job. They're trying to get a rapport with this guy or girl who's suicidal or waving a knife or whatever is going on. Now, 20 minutes go by, Officer Robin shows up. And she comes over and she's like, hey, whatever. Hey, Robert, I heard you were into ice skating or whatever. And Robin starts getting a rapport with this guy and talking with him. The other 2 cops who were first there, take a step back, shut the fuck up, and get out of the way. That's what you do. So I don't know why, whoever this officer was or this hostage negotiator guy, let someone else try. It doesn't. In this situation, yes, like what you said last night, Lee, absolutely. You have to have a chain of command. There's always a chain of command. Absolutely. But with an emotionally disturbed person, you got to think outside the box. And it doesn't matter. You could have an officer was just in the police academy yesterday. If that person can get a rapport and we can get through the situation where no one gets hurt, then we all win.
Yes.
We all win. But
so
I've too much fucking egos,
I got a million things I can add to that whole discussion and diatribe we all had. One of which, by the way, I will say right off the bat, I don't know if you know this guy, but if Chris Voss was there that wrote Never Split the Difference, this would have fucking never happened. I'll tell you. If you were into negotiators, this guy's a fucking master class. If you've never watched him give a presentation or read his book,
I've heard his name before.
Oh my God, he's fucking insane. Some of the stuff that he's negotiated is insane. But anyways, a lot of things they did wrong. they could have, for example, and I don't want to, I even said at the end of all of it, when Brent Copaka was shot and killed, I said, I don't want to nitpick everything. Like, I don't want to pick on the police for every little thing they did wrong and everything that went wrong, because look, it's a stressful situation, and everybody, I said, and we can, hindsight's 2020. We can go back and show all the mistakes they made. But having said that, we know that there was multiple negotiators there on scene. Nobody even picked up a bullhorn to try and talk through him through the window. At one point, the window, for a long time, the window is shattered out. They can talk to him through the window. No official professional negotiator even attempted to work with him through the open window. All they allowed is one guy to shout the same fucking thing over and over again for 8 hours. Literally, at one point, late in the fucking thing, they say, hey, do you want to try something else? He goes, no, I think this is working pretty good. It was a joke. Like, how is it working pretty good? He's literally hasn't talked to you for like 2 hours. You've done nothing but say the same thing over. And he goes, no, I think we're doing pretty good. I think this is working pretty good. This is working pretty good. Shouting to the door and you get no response. It was the most ridiculous negotiator I've seen. Go ahead, Joe.
Patty Barnett had said something in the chat a little bit ago. Like, he just wanted cigarettes.
Yeah,
right. Fucking cigarettes.
Several times.
Brent,
several times he shouted about cigarettes.
You need some smokes, or
absolutely.
That's coffee or a Pepsi and a pack of cigarettes. Absolutely. It would have changed everything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It literally, he raged about, he came to the front door, they think, this came out later. When he first came to the front door, he had a cell phone and they believe a pack of cigarettes in his hand.
Yeah.
And then he left the cigarettes and the cell phone by the front door. And they literally were like, I think he left his cigarettes at the front door. Like, we could just let him go get his own cigarettes. And so he's raging about fucking alcohol and cigarettes and whatever. And it was about, after 8 hours of a standoff, it was about a half hour before they killed him that they said, hey, maybe we can get you some cigarettes. What's your brand? And I'm like, after fucking 8 hours, you're going to finally ask him if you can get him a pack of cigarettes? You could have built some rapport at the very beginning of this by just letting him get his fucking cigarettes.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
They didn't even try. They didn't even try. That's the thing. No. They didn't even try or think about it.
Yeah. Whoever
they weren't giving the appearance.
Whoever that guy was in the beginning was wrong from the start. As soon as he said, come out or you're going to be arrested. Right there. It went
over right there. They were done.
Go ahead, Joe. What were you going to say?
No, we talked about it last night. They were basically doing the cursory, minimal, to be able to say, look, we waited all these hours, right?
That's exactly it.
Like, they would, but you could, in my opinion, and I think most of you all will agree with me, they were not, they, in my opinion, I don't think they wanted it to end peacefully. No. I think they had to give the appearance that that's what they wanted. So they did the cursory minimum of what would look like, Brent, we don't want, whatever. It just, that's honestly what I felt. And I am not anti-law enforcement.
I agree with you.
At all. And
I want to enumerate for people all the reasons why I believe that they may have wanted him dead from the beginning, because it starts at the very beginning. Near the very, very beginning, when SWAT showed up, one of the first things SWAT said was, well, we've already got attempted murder. So here's the ways that, we can shoot him. He was literally laying out, if you see any reason to shoot, go ahead and shoot him because we've got him on attempted murder. Yep. And I was like, you don't have fucking attempted murder, you moron. Like, somebody, and to be fair, somebody made the mistake of saying, we at least have a felony threat. At most, we have attempted murder. But that guy heard that and then ran with it and said, well, we have attempted murder, so we can shoot him. And I'm like, you don't have attempted murder. Like, nobody's had their life attempted murder. He didn't shoot a gun at that point. He hadn't done anything. And that was early. That was early where the guy said all the reasons, and he laid out all the narratives in which they can go ahead and shoot him. And it seemed, it just felt like the entire time somebody on that scene wanted him shot from the very beginning. Yes. That was problem number one.
And they shouldn't have even been talking. They shouldn't have even been talking about that so close to where he was.
The threat itself, Lee, was hearsay. There was no factual proof that he made that threat. So there again, there's absolutely no reason for you to say what you just said. Sorry.
There's some more stuff I'd love for you guys to see, and it happens pretty late in that 5-hour video that I did. It probably happens in the last hour. So if you wanted to cut to the last hour, you probably will catch everything I'm going to say. There was some weird moments, and I'll tell you that's what I picked up on. There's a lot of weird moments. But going to the negotiation thing and the wanting him dead, somebody showed up and they said something to the effect that you could hear officers talking. It was redacted with the black screen again, and they said something about agent, like "Hey agent" or whatever. And I'm like, did a federal agent literally get on scene? And several times you hear the officers deferring to him, do you think we should do something different? And he goes, no, you guys are all right so far. It's like there was a federal agent there literally telling them, giving them advice when they asked. And they would turn to from time to time and say, do you think we should change something? He goes, no, okay, it's okay. And so that was one thing that was weird. And at one point, he finally, basically, that same guy basically tells him it's okay to advance to the DD, which is like to do an assault or step it up and change their tactics and force the I forgot what DD stands for. It's like divergent deployment or something like that, or directed deployment. They change their tactics and they up it to up the game and force the guy to be kind of shell shocked and make mistakes. It's used when negotiations have stalled. When nothing's happening, you're making no advancement, then you go to this DD deployment where you force the issue because the negotiations have stalled. And that agent, who looks like an agent, tells him you can go ahead and move to this next step of just forcing the issue. That's when they decide to shoot gas canisters into the thing and a ferret. So a ferret round was designed they launched it through the window and they exploded it in the room to cause damage and to flush him out. Distractive devices. It wasn't just distractive devices. DD was it's an actual type of it's the term of the it's
I
more
know
than
what
that. It's
you
not
mean,
a
and I
distractive.
can't
Yeah, and
think
I looked it up and read it during the live. I read it right out of the chat GPT. It was very distractive, very detailed.
Remember too, Lee, they talked about I can't think of the word they used right now, but they said it beanbag 4 times.
Yes.
They said it twice they did that, which is a less lethal version.
Yes.
Okay. That didn't happen.
To be fair,
they didn't do it.
Yeah, to be fair, they did have some people. It seemed like they had some people who wanted him dead and some people who didn't, and that's part of the problem. The other weird thing, and I got other things to tell you that are weird. The other weird thing is, while they're doing that, and when this agent's on just as they're deciding to do this DD attack, which is hold on, stand by. We're just gonna do this live. Hold on.
And I just wanted to say for people in the chat who weren't there in the live last night, one of the points that we all agree on that I was talking about is you had Brett Payne there. He was 82nd Airborne in the same combat division as Brent Copaka. I'm not law enforcement. I have basic logic. You would use him as the negotiator because he has something in common, not just something in common. I mean, that's a massive thing to have in common with the guy.
Yeah.
So that begs the question, why was Payne really there? Yeah, right. Because I've contended all along that he was a fixer for this whole case, and that's why he was brought in as his role in the Idaho 4 investigation. Because if you have him there on the scene with Brent Copaka, and he's 82nd Airborne also, not just 82nd Airborne, same combat division, that would be the guy that anybody would know this, that you would want speaking to the guy, right? To de-escalate, to connect with the guy. So that is a big red flag for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of huge red flags. And the other thing I was going to tell you, and I was trying to find the actual article I read. It was very, very detailed, and it was exactly the DD technique they were talking about. Do you want to deploy DD? And it was exactly what they were talking about. It was perfect, and I can't find it for some reason to give it to you. So fuck it, I'll just skip that. But another weird thing that happened to me, because I pick up on little details, is at some point when they're talking to all this radio traffic, one of the SWAT members or whatever who's in the hallway receives a phone call, and you hear him talking quietly to somebody, and he's getting orders. He's like, "Got that, Roger." and it's a personal phone call. They're off TAC communications. They're offline. They're not on dispatch anywhere. He's taking a personal phone call, and that's when they start ratcheting up everything. It's like he got a personal, and then he kept getting text messages instead of on the TAC lines, where it was like he was getting instructions from somebody. Literally, he was getting instructions from somebody that they wanted to keep off the air. And it bugged the piss out of me. I'm like, who the fuck just called him? And who is he taking orders from at this point? And then everything changed. Everything changed at the point that he took that phone call, and they ratcheted up things and end up killing him with like in a half hour. There was another couple of disturbing moments I lost my shit on. At one point, you can hear Brent Copaka yelling in the background a lot, and sometimes it's quite obvious what he's saying. He's like, I fucking hate you, he said at one point. And I just want some fucking cigarettes. I just want some alcohol and some cigarettes or whatever. And he's there's things you can hear very, very clearly. And then all of a sudden, and I shit you not, I lost my shit on the live. You can hear the audio of the officers being stepped down level by level. So you hear the audio drop, and you hear just get quieter, and it goes real quiet. And in the background, you can barely hear Brent Copaka still screaming and raging about something. When he gets done screaming and raging, you hear them step the volume back up. They literally muted. They lowered the volume to hide what Copaka said from everybody so that you wouldn't hear it. And then clear as day, the dispatcher later, much later, so that's not what he was saying. Much later, the dispatcher tells you, Brent Copaka just said he's going to start killing people in the parking lot. And you never hear him say anything like that. Never once. That's why I said that I still have some work left to do, because I want to see every fucking body cam footage from that last half hour of his life, because I don't think he ever said it. There's not a space on there where he could have said it. But out of the blue, the dispatcher says he just said he's going to start killing people in the parking lot. And I'm like, you motherfuckers, he never said that. I almost guarantee you, like I better be careful, because I haven't watched every body camera footage, but I'm telling you, there was no space where I could tell where he could have possibly said that. And I don't know what they muted, but it wasn't that. So they lowered the volume and didn't want us to hear. There's several times, even on the dispatch, where they said, Brent Copaka said, and then they wouldn't play it for you. Brent Copaka just said, and they wouldn't play it for you. And the only time they said, Brent Copaka said, that they told us was, Brent Copaka just said he's going to start killing people in the parking lot. That's what they let us hear. All the other things that he said, they wouldn't let us hear. Which is bothersome.
I got it. So for those of you who are wondering, just a quick reference, tactical DD deployment. It's a method of positioning people, resources, or capabilities in layered depth rather than a single line. So failure at one point does not equal total failure. It's used in military, law enforcement, security, and tactical planning contexts. It places forces or assets in multiple layers, so an adversary or whatever must fight through stages, not just break one position. It prioritizes survivability, control, and reaction time over speed or forward aggression.
God, you're killing me. I want to read the one we read, because it was absolutely it was way better. Hold on. It's driving me nuts.
I'm looking for it too. I'm looking for it too, because I know what it means. I remember hearing it in the past.
It was verbatim what the officers were talking about. I'll guarantee you. Hold on a second.
Well, what I don't understand is, why would you not?
There it is. Found it.
Go ahead.
Good.
All right. In SWAT, DD is referred to as dynamic deployment. Sometimes called dynamic entry. It is a fast, aggressive, tactical situation with rapid movement to gain control of a situation. It involves quick entry, breaching the doors, rapid movement to dominate rooms and space, immediate control of the suspect. SWAT typically uses it when basically they talk about when negotiations have failed, or shots have been fired, or there's imminent threat, and it goes on and on. But it was exactly what they were talking about doing. It was a dynamic deployment. They were going to move to a fast, aggressive attack format to shell shock him and take him over and overwhelm him, is what they were looking to do at that point. So, and look, like I said, it bothers me that they dropped out audio so you can't hear it. It bothers me that I really, at this moment, don't believe Brent Copaka told them he was going to start killing people. I think they said that because it was going to give him a pretext. Another shocking moment that came out of it was the sniper missed. The sniper missed and may have missed twice, but I know he missed once. And so there we heard it. You heard the shot, and they said, what was that? What was that? And so they said, did the sniper fire? And they said, yeah, confirmation. The sniper took a shot. And they were like, what's the results? And he's like, negative results. So they didn't hit him. And they said, he's still moving around in the room. Time goes by later on. They take another shot and they kill him. But it actually sounded like they took shots at first. And they said the sniper did take one shot. And I'm like, it sounded like two to me. But they said took one shot, negative results. He was still alive. You still hear him yelling at them afterwards. He fired back shortly after they fired on him. And so he did fire back. And again, one of the things that didn't seem real to me, and maybe it was, if it was really happening, then probably they needed to do the shooting. But they started to give this narrative over the radio. That last round, he just shut out the window, he hit a tree branch and is heading towards campus. That last round hit the water tower, we think. And so they started to go, oh, well, he's starting to shoot towards campus. We need to take him out kind of thing. Along with that statement of he just said he's going to start killing people. I don't know. It may have ratcheted up that. Oh, and the other last thing that they said was they said Brent Copaka started firing through the wall at the officers on the other side of the hall. That's what they said. So they said that I just saw a hole come through the wall. He's shooting at us in the apartment. And so those were all the aggravating factors that led to the sniper killing him in the last minute, was that he was starting to shoot at cop cars in the parking lot. He was threatening to kill people in the parking lot, and he was shooting towards campus and then started shooting through the walls at the officers on the other side, allegedly.
There's a lot of trust me, bro.
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
right.
It's redacted visually.
And
yes.
So trust me, bro. This is what he did.
Yeah.
Here's my question, gentlemen and lady. If it's said and done, the man's deceased. Why is any of it redacted at this point? Tell me that right now.
You're right. No, you're right.
Yeah.
What I was saying before the show, NYPD doesn't do this. When we have an officer involved shooting,
you can see
it after they do their, they have to do their investigation and whatever, but it's not a long period either. It's like sometimes within a few months or so. You can look it up. They'll put a disclaimer out in front. It might, it's not for the lighthearted, and they'll show the whole thing. And then what they'll even show, like if there's four officers on scene, they'll show the body camera from each.
Oh, and by the way,
4 officers. So
I forgot to tell you, at that same time that I told you things escalated at the very end, where it felt like somebody and that they said agent showed up on scene.
Yeah.
There was on top of that private phone call and the fact that they deferred to him to time, asking him what he wants to do, or if he wants to change tactics. Another weird thing that happened, because I'm a stickler for details. Several times somebody starts talking and several officers start shouting out, open mic, open mic, open mic. They're reminding the guy to shut his fucking mouth because they're on open mics. Yep. And several times when someone starts to talk, they go, open mic, open mic, because they don't want the person to say something realizing that it's being recorded right now. So it's like they wanted to talk about something, but they want to remind them that you can't say this because you're on an open mic and it'll get recorded. So they kept saying open mic.
That's bullshit. Now, why, and I don't know the answer to this, why, because I haven't studied negotiating necessarily, but to me, why would you not bring your A game right out of the gate to resolve the issue as quickly as possible? That's, I mean, if it just seems like they really did want him dead from the get-go. And so they were just letting it, because any other hostage situation or when they're doing it correctly, to my way of thinking, is you're going to do whatever it takes right away to resolve that as quickly as possible to make sure that nobody gets hurt, whether it's
absolutely
the actual perpetrator, the cops, other, innocent people. I mean, and there was none of that. What do they mean that the negotiations were failing? There was no negotiation.
There was no,
Robin, you're right. Robin, you're 1,000 times right. So I said Dago could tell, but both of us have been on scene for multiple different, might not be someone with a gun. It could, I've dealt many times with emotionally disturbed person. They might not have a weapon at all. They might just be barricaded in a room, whatever it is. Maybe they're off their medicine, whatever the situation is.
Right.
I'm telling you, they used zero technique.
Nothing.
Zero.
Nothing.
They use it's crisis management. They used zero.
Right.
And that's what I mean. I can't tell you. I don't know what the training is that they have there. Obviously, there could be some differences from state to state, county to county, but
not that many.
They didn't even use like the basics. There's not even remotely, not even a little bit, nothing.
There was a joke. There was a moment in 8 hours of this standoff or whatever it was. There was a moment that was comical to me. It shouldn't be comical, but somebody asks the main guy who's been yelling the whole time, pick up the phone. We just need to make sure you're okay. You know, they say they ask him if he has a cat. That's it. And so he does. He goes, hey, Brent, do you have a cat? And they're like, well, we can't get rapport. He doesn't have there's nothing. I don't know what to connect with them on. And so they're laughing like that was our attempt to get rapport with him. Do you have a cat? Well, he doesn't have a cat, so I can't make rapport with him.
You know what? Find anything. You know what it reminded me of, you guys, is it's like training a puppy to go outside and go to the bathroom, right? You do it repeatedly again and again and again and again, and finally, eventually, the dog will figure it out. What they did, you guys, was they took the dog outside to go to the bathroom one time. The dog pissed in the house. They were done and said, fuck it. They can pee in the house the rest of the time. I don't care. There was nothing here. How many times, Lee, did we last night? Joe said it. I said it. 1-1 said it. Why don't they try this? Why don't they try that? We brought up multiple tactics they have tried. They never even thought about doing.
Right.
And they just went forward with the stupidity and the ignorance and kept letting the phone ring every 5, 10, 30 minutes, whatever the hell it was.
They even had another awkward moment in their quote unquote attempt to find rapport. They didn't actually say it to him. They were joking about it. One of the guys says, ask him what his gamer tag is. We'll challenge him to a Call of Duty match and see who's better or whatever. And I'm like, you guys are literally making jokes like you're going to get in a shootout. You're going to see which one of them are better at your combat skills based on Call of Duty. Like, so inappropriate in that moment.
It was sick.
It was sick.
I really believe that if they would have had a softer voice.
I was just going to freaking say that.
I mean, come on. Put his mother on the goddamn phone.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Robin, I swear to God, I was just going to say that.
Mom would have talked him down. Mom would have said, look, please come out, honey. Most guys, when they hear their mother's voice pleading with them, please come out, honey. Please, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to help you. You know, somebody that could have had a softer tone and shown some compassion for this man, but they didn't want that. They didn't want that.
I mean, I was just gonna say.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I swear, I was just gonna say what Robin was saying. I was gonna say, you got an agitated guy who's suffering from PTSD and traumatic brain injury. You're yelling at him, ringing a fucking phone constantly. That's not going to bring somebody down. You gotta bring it down.
It brought me up watching it. I mean,
you gotta bring it. This is Psych 101.
Yeah.
This is Psych 101.
I'm losing all my points. There's so much. There was a moment at the end, near the end, when Brent allegedly, he kind of can't hear it great, but he basically calls out the guy who's been saying the same fucking thing all night long, saying, I'm tired of hearing your fucking voice. And he gets pissed and goes, well, I'm not going to stop talking. I'm going to do this all night long. And he wouldn't let it go. As soon as he said, I'm tired of hearing your voice, the guy went right at him. I'm going to talk all day long. I'm not going to stop talking, Brent. You come out here. I can do this all night. I'm like,
that's that ego. That's that ego. You have to be willing to. A lot of cops get that. Usually the more seasoned officers know better.
Do you think they were trying to agitate him?
That's what it sounded like to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They did nothing. They did nothing to de-escalate. Nothing.
No, they
I mean, one of the main
purposely escalating.
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things is, you know, he's agitated. Whatever he's at. I mean, I think, I don't know how many times, you know, come to the window, you know, come to the wall, come to the door. the phone ringing. I believe also the same guy, he said it several times as well. He's like, oh, we could talk about the situation that happened before. No, you don't want to talk about the situation.
No,
absolutely
you don't want to
not.
Back to the things that
now you're
agitated
bringing him back to now he has it right in his memory why he got mad to begin with. You don't want to do that.
So was it incompetence or did they want to agitate him? That's the thing. Was it just incompetence or did they want to agitate him?
That's it right there.
It seemed to me that they wanted to agitate him.
If these guys were negotiators, then I'm a rock star, folks. I'm telling you right now, because they definitely didn't act like them.
Let's talk about the guns. I want to talk about the guns for a minute. The first person that came on scene was that saw one of the roommates. It was Jordan, and Jordan told, I think it was Wade, one of the officers told him, my roommate has a gun. It's a long gun, and he even put his hands up to show the length of the gun. And the officer repeatedly told people when they said, oh, I think he might just have a pistol. And he goes, well, Jordan was clear he had a rifle. He even put his hands up and showed me how big the gun was. And so there's been an ongoing question. Did he have a rifle or did he have a pistol? Now, here's the other thing that I thought was super weird. And I know somebody in the chat didn't agree with me, but here's what they agreed with part of it. He's been firing a gun off and on at various times. You hear a loud bang from inside, and every once in a while he's firing a gun. It sounds like, and they're saying shot fired again. He fired another shot. He wasn't firing at people. He's firing out the window or whatever. But they kept you started to get used to what the sound of the firearm was. There was a moment where they kind of talked about he must be running out of rounds pretty soon because he's been firing for a lot of rounds. And then at some point you heard very distinctly the sound of the round changes dramatically. And they said, oh, he swapped weapons. And it sounds like it's a lower caliber, maybe a 22. And one of the cops says, well, that's good because they didn't say this part, but I'm guessing because it's a lower, slower, a smaller round, a little less deadly than the larger round. But you clearly could hear a distinctive change in the report of the gun. So they're like, oh, he changed guns and it sounds like a smaller round. That's good. And after 2 or 3 shots of the smaller round, you hear a really loud bang as if he even switched another gun. And you hear an officer go, well, fuck. Like he's back to a gun and maybe even a bigger gun. I thought there could have been that he maybe picked up a different gun, a third gun. But again, the story is he only had one gun on him. He had a pistol. There wasn't more than one gun. But I'll guarantee you there was 2 calibers at least because he went down to a smaller thing, and that was almost unmistakable. When he came back and fired another shot that was loud again, one person thought it was the same gun that he was firing earlier. It sounded like it was even louder than the original guns that he was firing. And one of the officers was like, well, fuck. Now, I don't know if he was saying, well, fuck, as in, I guess he's not out of rounds on the bigger gun and he's back to the bigger gun, or was it, well, fuck, he's got an even bigger gun now? I don't know, but clearly there was 2 guns at least, maybe 3.
Yeah. How far away was the water tower?
I would have to look at the map. I mean, I would have to look at the map. I don't know where the water tower is.
Because a rifle is going to be able to hit it, but will a handgun? Depending on what kind of handgun he had, or
probably not.
Right.
Depends how far. I mean, we don't even know. Kind of round. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to know how many rounds from all these various places that he supposedly hit, how many rounds were recovered?
Well, that's just it. I mean, do we have, somebody said they're jumping in here, so I keep waiting for their question, but that's just it. Like, have they verified that there were holes in the walls of the apartment to verify that he was shooting through the apartment, like they said? Did they ever find a recovered bullet in the water tower? Even the water tower story, they said, I think he might have hit the water tower. They almost were like, don't ask us to prove it. I think he might have just hit the water tower. Like they really didn't know that he hit a branch on the, did they really see it hit the branch, or they just it felt like, I don't know, but it felt like they were trying to build the narrative that he was getting more and more dangerous and that they needed to kill him.
I'm interested to hear, because I didn't hear, I know you covered it earlier. Did anyone go over the radio saying take cover or anything like that?
No. At one point,
that's super odd. That's
wait. Here's the great thing, one. After quite a few rounds are being shot, and things are escalating, one of the cops says, I think we should probably evacuate the building now. I'm like,
Oh my God.
now you should start evacuating the building. I mean,
the whole thing was a joke.
Wow.
A joke.
Gunfire's been going on for like a half hour.
Just like when they put the gas, they sent the gas in, this and that, and they're like, oh, maybe we should shut down the fire suppression system. You think after the fact they did all of these things, they did it in the same way. It was almost like they brought in like junior ROTC to run over this whole to cover this whole thing. It was it was just way unprofessional.
You guys keep talking for a second. I might be able to pull up that some of that clip from the shooting if you guys want to hear a piece of it live here. So.
Sure. I just wanted to respond to JP. I responded in the chat. I have been saying that I thought Payne was a fixer, and he was saying we have, I guess, semantics. When I say fixer, what I mean is if the military, because I've been saying this all along, did not want things to get out about a 82nd Airborne decorated veteran potentially being involved in any way, shape, or form, not saying necessarily the perpetrator, but being involved in a high profile case like this, a fixer would be somebody that comes in and tries to control things, control the information flow, impact the narrative. You could say handler also, depending on the context of the thing, but that's kind of what I was, how I was stating it.
You guys talking?
Yeah. I think we need to. Oh, I was just going to say, I think there's a lot of things that with just listening to this that we could definitely request. I would like to know. I'm very interested to know how many rounds were potentially found. What, did they dig bullets out of the walls? I mean, whatever that. I'm very interested in that aspect.
I'd like the drone footage, but it'll probably be redacted, I'm sure. But
you guys carry the conversation for a minute because it's hard for me to listen to my repeat thing and you at the same time. So I'm going to mute this tab. You guys keep talking with me. I'm going to take myself off stage, let you guys talk without me. I'm going to go find a queued up good space to show so that people can hear it for themselves. So I'll be back.
So I wanted to say something to everybody and get your guys' opinion and the Den's opinion as well. How many things in this case have we discussed that are suspicious? I'm going to be a broken record. If it was one thing or two things or even three things that are suspicious, that stuff can be written off as coincidence or just shoddy police work, or it's a small town or whatever. Yeah. But when every aspect of the case, now the reason I'm saying this, I realize we had no connection between Copaka and this case have been revealed, but this pretty high impact event happened shortly after a quadruple homicide in an area that's very insular. Everything's close together. Being there, it was even closer together than I thought it would be. And I could see there would be a lot of crossover between the two towns. What we're seeing and we're hearing with this body cam stuff, with the Copaka standoff, just from what DA is saying and what we've seen so far, it's suspicious.
Yeah.
Now, you could all say, oh, if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail and you're looking for conspiracy. I would buy that narrative if it was on, like I said, 1, 2, or 3 different things. But when so many aspects
there's so much lying
and around this case are questionable, in my opinion, that says to me there are connections and that at the very least there's a cover-up that has been going on. Yeah. And that's a charitable take.
JJ, I don't know if you know, we were talking about a little bit before. We got the video now from Floyd's cannabis shop.
Okay, really?
And guess what the white Elantra has?
fog lights.
It has fog lights.
Dago's favorite subject.
It's not BK's car.
Yeah, see, I mean, how many other things have to come out before people say fuckery?
Yeah.
Right? That's the word that defines this whole shit show.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the reason that I bring that up is because I know a lot of people say their argument might be, oh, he pled guilty, or guys, you keep on repeating the same things over and over. But we also always say on this show, you pull threads and you see where they lead. If everything looks legit, you go, oh, I'm wrong. This was totally legit.
Guys, you have to. We've mentioned it almost on every show. You have to really listen or get that book framed, and you got to understand. I mean, try to put yourself. It's hard to do, but put yourself in Kohlberger's shoes. Hitler was not giving the defense the time of day on anything.
No.
On anything.
No.
So all they could really do at the moment was at least try to get the death penalty out of it.
Right. And that was a really interesting thing that Allie brought up last night was there are different types of winning a case.
Yeah.
Winning a case does not always mean getting your client an acquittal. Sometimes it means, getting the death penalty taken off, off of the table. Sometimes it's kind of that old adage about, you do what you have to do in order to live another day to fight another battle down the road where you can win or whatever. And I kind of really do feel that this was Ann Taylor's version of doing that, or maybe it was Brian's idea. We don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it was Brian. I mean, Brian's no dummy.
No, and she even said herself.
Yeah. So Brian might have been the instigator of that.
Ann Taylor said herself. Ann Taylor was laying the breadcrumbs out. How many times did she say that ineffective use of whatever the term is, ineffective counsel? She said it herself in court because they were giving her discovery. She was getting stuff like super late. They were passing deadlines, and then they were giving. What did she say? She had like some ridiculous amount of info that was given to her. I mean, look how long it takes to go through. Just look at what Lee is doing. Look at what we're doing. Just evaluating this, 9, 8, 9, 10 hour Copaka incident, and we're trying to we're listening to body cameras. We're listening to audio. How do you think there's only so much time in a day? You think they wrapped everything in a bow and they're like, oh look, this is this part, this is that part. They.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
It's crazy.
I don't know where you guys are at. Am I breaking into a middle of a big discussion?
No, you're good.
We just mentioned Floyd Cannabis Shop, and
I'm gonna play for you about a minute or so of my 5-hour video. Unfortunately, it's too spaced out for you to hear the shots prior. But what you're gonna hear in this clip are two parts of what we talked about tonight. The officers finally, within minutes of killing him, really offering him cigarettes. Finally, after 8 hours of him fucking raging about cigarettes, and they finally decided that they might offer him cigarettes. You're going to hear a little bit of that discussion. Then you're going to hear a very small popping sound, and the officer is going to talk. And you have to listen carefully. So if you have headphones, that would be helpful maybe for this. How they think that he just changed guns. It sounds like it's a smaller round, like a 22 round. and then a little bit of discussion. I'm going to talk a little bit about that and about how there's been discussion about multiple guns, and then it'll come back on and I'll play the audio, and then you're going to hear him switch back to a different gun. And when he fires that larger caliber again, they're like, well, fuck, because they thought he had switched or run out of ammo on the bigger gun and went to a small gun, and then he's back to a large caliber again, and they talk a little bit about that. So I want to play that sequence for you because it leads to that whole, how many guns did Brent Copaka have? I hope the audio will be fine. I've got it cranked up as much as I can. So let's, again, if you have headphones, it might be helpful because some of the dialogue is going to be a little quiet. All right, ready?
I'm not hearing anything.
Hold on.
Okay.
Well, hold on. You are hearing him say about cigarettes, right?
No, not hearing anything.
No? Oh.
I hear nothing.
Me. Okay. I thought you were just waiting for the gunshot.
I was, but yeah, I wasn't hearing anything.
DA, do you have an EQ?
No, but I apparently didn't turn the sound on in the tab, so I'm sorry about that. Remove this and then stop sharing and reshare it with that tab. Fuck, I hope I got the sound on the right space now. All right, let's try it one more time. Sorry about that.
Now we hear it.
I can get you cigarettes. Brent, what kind of cigarettes do you smoke?
Anything you give him.
Brent, I'd like to figure out what type of cigarettes you want and how to get them to you.
There's a bang.
Yeah, might be a 22.
Sounds like he's getting a smaller.
So there was talk on the dispatch that they thought he changed guns. And the officers here are saying that they think the caliber has changed to a 22. Like he ran out of whatever ammunition he was using on a different gun, and now he's using a different gun. Keep in mind, the official story I've heard over and over again is he had one gun on him. So if he's changed weapons, then that doesn't match the official story because apparently he only had one gun. Now we've heard multiple places. We've heard a dispatch that said that they think he changed guns. We have these guys on the side saying they think he changed guns. They think it's a different caliber. It sounds different. So how many guns did he have on him?
Or he was taken out before they said he was, and the rest of it is a dog and pony show.
Maybe. Now I'm going to play a little bit more so you can hear when he switches back to a larger gun, or maybe even grabs a even higher caliber gun, and you hear the well fuck in response. Because again, they think he switched to a lower caliber gun, and then he goes back to the bigger gun, which is why they respond, I think, to the well fuck, because they thought he had switched to a lower caliber gun. So here we'll let you play it just a little bit more.
That ain't no 22.
Right. So that was more indicative of the shots that he was firing earlier. Then there was two smaller things, and the cops all talk. They're like, oh, good, he ran out of rounds. It looks like he's going to a smaller caliber. Well, that's good. And then when he starts shooting the bigger rounds again, they're like, fuck. They're like, he's got big rounds still.
That sounds like a 9mm.
Yeah. Well, you know what I was just going to say is like a 9mm is probably the most common round used for handguns.
Right.
or one of the most. I know from when I have gone shooting and stuff, everybody. It's very common, and that's the round that you can never get.
Military, he could have a 45 too. So,
but like that sound that those 2 shots we just heard, you guys know this probably better than I do, but like a 5.56 is not a big round, like what an AR shoots, and it's not. I mean, you guys know that. And like a 9mm is like more of a cracking sound. It's like a rifle's a bigger sound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the like a pistol, like I have a 22, and it's like not loud at all, man. It does not create.
It's like a cap gun.
It is. I swear, dude. Anybody who has shot 22s to go from like a different round to a 22, it's like a loud pellet gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
This comment is very interesting to me, and because I was just wondering, could they have just faked whatever he was shooting, like and said it was him, but really, I know how that sounds, but with everything else, I mean, is that plausible? I don't know.
Well, that it took so long to get this information, Robin, like we tried for a long time to FOIA this, and because the case was still open, even after he was deceased, which still makes no sense to me, they wouldn't FOIA any of this until the case was officially closed. So in turn, you know where I'm going with that, right?
Dago, I got a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
In your opinion, because you and I haven't talked about this as much as I have with the others.
Right.
Why do you think everything, and this in particular, because we're dealing with it right now, seems to be there's a shadiness to it, right? Why do you think that is?
Because there is, truly. I mean, honest to God. I mean, after what we heard last night and some of the night before, I agree with Lee. I think one said the same thing. You even said it last night when we were all listening. I feel truly and honestly, because of what I've seen in real life, in front of my face, what I've taken part in, same thing one said. They did nothing at all, JJ, to de-escalate the situation. And in my opinion, they did nothing but try to escalate him. And to me, that seems like they were purposely pushing him to do something that would make them take him out that way. As you hear when SWAT gets there, they're automatically trying to take, well, we got attempted murder, we got this, we got that, let's just take his ass out and be done with it. It sounds to me like this is exactly what they wanted to do from the moment this started, is to get rid of Brent Copaka. I'm sorry.
And I want to clarify this user's question, SRB, right? About did they ever hear his voice? How do I answer this? You hear a voice, we believe is Brent Copaka, a lot during the standoff. You hear it at the very, very beginning. Officers open the door and have a face-to-face confrontation with him, and you hear that confrontation by voice. Later on, when there's silence for hours and hours, there's silence and not a word was said for hours. When it agitates up again and they shoot tear gas into the room and an explosive round in the room, he starts allegedly getting pissed off, and you start hearing him yell at people and says, "I fucking hate you." I think at one point he even says, "I didn't murder anybody." He's agitated. He starts screaming about fucking just wanting some alcohol and some cigarettes and fuck you and I hate you and whatever, and leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to hear. So yes, you hear his voice, but listen, here's the $1 million thing. Never once do you ever see Brent Copaka. Not once. It's all voice. And here's the weird thing about that. They knock on people's doors. You get to see their faces. At different times, you get to see inside Brent Copaka's apartment. You get to see in his apartment when it's empty, and all you maybe see is the back of someone that they say might be Brent Copaka. You never see his front. You never see his face. You see his apartment after they shot him, and you'll see inside his apartment again after they shot him, but you don't see Brent Copaka. The conversation face to face with Brent Copaka, 100% black redacted. You're not allowed to see him.
It's ridiculous.
You will never be allowed to see Brent Copaka. So you hear a voice, But one could argue, was it ever Brent Copaka? You never will get visual confirmation. They black box redact. You will not. You don't get to see him ever. You don't ever get to see him.
And why? Why do they do that when this is closed?
Right.
He's dead. Why are they hiding this at this point? They show everything else but that. That is my point, Joe. With what you asked me, that's why I feel that this is absolutely shady, and I feel personally that the point to this entire operation was what happened, and that it was to take Brent Copaka's life. Period.
I think we all agree on that. It seems
at this point
they wanted to.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
No, and I mean, people are saying, well, does it sound like him? There are people. I mean, look, and that's so subjective. Does it sound like him? There are other videos of Brent Copaka. Sometimes I think it sounds like him. I mean, if I didn't go crazy conspiracy theory, I'd say, yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That probably was Brent Copaka. Look, taking all conspiracy aside, I feel like I do hear a vet with PTSD having a bad day and having a bad thing, and I think they agitated him and they unnecessarily caused him to panic and start freaking out. And I think it's fucking tragic. I think the guy may not be violent at all, but they fucking pushed him. They just kept pushing him. So it could have happened exactly the way it sounds like, but there's still fuckery. They're still hiding things that he said by not letting us hear it, bringing down the volume so he can't hear. There's something Brent Copaka said that they don't want the public to know he said. What the fuck is that about?
I think
what could he have possibly said?
I think it's what you said, Lee, is possibly I didn't murder anybody. And if that's what he said, they don't want us to hear that why they don't want us to hear that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you know why they don't want us to hear that, because if he said that and or anything else in that boat, that narrative is going to turn the other direction immediately, and that's not what we're supposed to hear.
Right, because for those who don't follow the logic, if he said anything about telling them that he didn't kill anybody or he didn't murder anybody, one would have to argue, did they come to the apartment because they thought he killed those kids and they were planning on killing Copaka from the very get-go because they thought he was that guy? And if there's anything in that audio that he ever says that indicates that he thinks they're there to kill him for the murders in Moscow, they don't want you to hear that because they don't want you to think that they came there for that reason.
Or because he started saying these things, I don't know, that they're after me because they think I did this. They think they're trying to put this on me. We can't hear any of that. That will destroy the absolute narrative 100% right there. In it, that being said, he had to be gone. Period.
Yeah. And another thing you mentioned last night too, when this, I know he had an argument or whatever with his roommates, but was it this is what was it? It was December 15th, right? Was this the same?
Yeah.
The same day that Koberger left?
Yes.
His father, right?
Yes.
Which may have started this whole thing.
Yes, that's a rumor. I said this.
It's a rumor. Video. Yeah,
it's a rumor.
Right.
A rumor has it that Brent Copaka lost his shit that night when he found out Koberger had left town. That was a rumor. I don't know if it's true at all, but somebody said this all started to happen when Brent Copaka found out Koberger had left town. So did they know each other? Was he pissed off that Koberger left town? I don't know. It's 100% rumor. But I did hear it multiple times that someone said this all started when he found out Brent Copaka, Brian Koberger had just left town. So,
well, now what? Okay, Brent technically was killed on the 15th at 4 a.m. or whatever.
Yeah.
Was Koberger already out of town, or had he not left until sometime on the 15th?
I believe him and his father were already en route and traveling. They were in Iowa or Indiana when they got pulled over, talking about the shooting that happened hours ago. So I think they had been traveling for quite a while. So I think they left on the night of I think they left maybe time-wise. I mean, you can look at it on a map, but maybe time-wise close to when this whole thing started. Because I bet you if you look at the hours that it takes to get from where they when this started to where they got pulled over, it might be that they left right around this time. I would be surprised if it wouldn't be that bad.
Oh, okay. So to that thinking, if was maybe the reason the phone was wiped, factory reset, whatever you want to call it, could there have been a phone call that Brian called Copaka? If we're saying they're connected, whatever, could he have called Brent and said, "Hey, look, I'm leaving town," or whatever? And Brent's like, "What the fuck do you mean you're leaving town? You're leaving me swinging here in the breeze." I mean, could that be because they didn't maybe either Brent didn't want anyone to know, or did the powers that be not want anyone to know about the connection between the two?
Yeah.
Good point.
And also to that point, Robin, and something I know I've talked about quite a bit. If you look into and read about the things that I have, loose ends whenever the feds are involved in something are a problem, right? It may not be an issue that comes out that much in true crime necessarily, but on the bigger picture, when powerful entities like the military, for example, are involved, or if there were operations going on in the area and there were trafficking things happening, and people that knew about those things would be a threat. And so regular people, I couldn't fathom this. I mean, I can understand it intellectually, but I can't emotionally imagine ever doing this kind of shit. But powerful entities do. And, you know, how many people that have been connected to corruption cases, you know, mysteriously commit suicide and disappear or get murdered in a mysterious way or in a questionable case. So loose ends are always a problem if people have information that powerful people don't want to get out.
So I did just look up really quickly. This is on the fly shit, so I don't know if it's good or not. Let's go that. So Pullman, Washington to Greenville, Indiana, where roughly Koberger and his father were pulled over as 34 hours by car. So Koberger and his dad would have to already been driving for a day or so, you know, before this went down. So that gives you that perspective. But
they were based on what I think it was stated. Brian's dad was talking about that. Where he said,
he was on the body cam.
Yeah, he said something about this thing happened yesterday, blah blah blah. So they're already like a day into the trip at that point. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, there's a lot to the video, and I know that people aren't going to just go rush out and listen to my 15 hours of audio talking about and breaking down every second, but it was pretty fascinating, I think, for those who did sit and watch. There's lots of little stuff we talk about. I did lose my shit at one point where I lost my shit, and I tell you, partly I'm still losing my shit. I lose my shit because after hours and hours of this guy ringing the fucking phone and saying, Brent, we need to hear that you're okay, and never getting a response. So if you really want to know he's okay, you haven't heard any response saying he's okay, so he must not be okay by your own logic. If you need to hear he's okay, hours have gone by, and you hear two cops having a hallway conversation, and he goes, I think he's been dead for a couple hours. Remember back when you heard him groan and you heard that loud, and you're like, oh yeah. He goes, there hasn't been anything for 2 hours since then. I think he's already dead. I think he's in a pool of blood already. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, even these officers, one said they heard a loud groan that we never heard. We never heard it on camera. So did they redact that out? Because I listened to every second of those body cameras. I never heard a loud groan. But these officers said, remember when he made that loud groan? I think he's been dead for hours. Which leads to, sorry, Dago, I know you want to go, and I'm sorry. I'll make one last point. It leads to that conspiracy theory. What if he did die hours ago, and this whole ending thing is just a staged fucking presentation to make everybody believe that it happened a different way, and maybe he shot himself or was killed hours ago?
Yep. And what did I say yesterday, Lee, when I said that we were sitting here for hours and hours and hours, and they're not getting a response from him? And I said, I've seen where they will physically storm the room or the situation if they don't think he's alive. They're not going to let it go that long. They will never let it go that long, not knowing if there's proof of life there. But they did. They did it so many times. So
you want to know another weird thing that kind of supports the I hate getting, honestly, I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist at heart, but I'm trying to keep the show not be a conspiracy theory too much, right? So I'm trying to keep our integrity and make sure we don't go crazy. But here's another thing that bothered me. Hours go by. No response whatsoever. Nothing, not a peep inside that house. Two officers say, I think he's been dead for hours. Body cam footage ends. There's a break before we pick up the next body cam footage available, and they're in the middle of chaos and things happening. And I said, what happened between the fucking dead silence and them saying, I think it's been dead hours ago, to now we're in the middle of a standoff and firefight and all this shit and yelling and screaming, and like, what happened in the interval that we're missing? You know, like,
yeah,
it's
more than likely
suspicious.
Something they don't want us to know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if
sad.
all these things, you know, like I tend to, you know, I'm conspiratorial, and I tend to believe that there was an operation involved with the Idaho 4 case in some way, shape, or form. And, you know, based on everything DA's saying and the way that whole thing sounded to me, what I heard of it, he could have been taken out, you know, much sooner, but they had to make it look like they were really trying to negotiate and really trying to bring it to a resolution.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's my gut instinct based on some of these weird inconsistencies about this whole thing.
By the way, this is a cool to plug while you might, if you've got spare time and if you just want to like to put on headphones and listen at work, I do encourage you to go listen to our 5 hours and my commentary, because this was a cool moment. What this person is talking about. This is supposedly when Wade's body camera dies. Here's what's cool. We were listening. One was here for part of it. We were asking, why is that you keep hearing this clicking all the time? There was this clicking sound, click it, click it, click, 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 and it would go on and off all the time on the videos on people's body worn camera or whatever. We were trying to figure out what it was, and some people were saying, well, it's a low light sensor or whatever. What it turned out to be, Cat Farm, I think, in our chat figured it out. It's a 2-minute interval of a click to let them know that you're still recording and stuff like that. And when the battery starts getting low, it goes to 4 clicks. And it was funny because when she was saying, oh, it's a click to remind them that you're recording, I said, well, that doesn't make sense because it doesn't seem like it's an interval. Then all of a sudden, right after we read what it was for, it starts clicking 4 times. It would click, 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 click. And so she goes, that's weird. Why did it change to 4? And so she looks it up online while we're doing it. And it says, oh, when it's got a low battery, it goes to 4 clicks. And it happens every like 20 seconds instead of every 2 minutes. And literally Wade's, as it's going off, click, 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 he goes, well, that's convenient. Now my battery's going to die. He literally confirmed that's what we were hearing, is that the thing was clicking more often and whatever to let him know his battery's dying. And then right in the middle of him talking, whatever, it just shuts off. But it was consistent. That's literally what we found out it was doing. And then he says, well, that's convenient. Now my battery's going to die. And you hear it click, 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 click until it dies. It just died. So it's interesting.
Such a mess. The whole thing is such a mess.
Yes, just believe the mainstream media, guys. They really have our best interests at heart. And the government really cares about us and is working for us.
Yeah, Joe Felon hit his head today. Don't worry.
I don't know what to think about it, you guys, because you have to ask yourself, well, why would they lie about all this shit? Why would they lie?
Here's how I see it: is what you can either take it, Lee, as they're just severely incompetent idiots, or it's fake. I'm sorry, but it not fake. Let me rephrase that. I don't mean fake. It really happened, but they did it, in my opinion, like I said, on purpose. Like they didn't try to fix the situation. They went there. The way it looks, they went there, in my opinion, with the intent
to kill Copaka. Yeah,
that's it, 100%. That's how I see it.
Yeah, again, you know, you got Dago, you got his perspective, you got mine. There's zero crisis management techniques were used.
None.
Nothing. At least, you know, I would try to give him some credit if I heard something, some kind of attempt, but.
And that's law enforcement telling you right to their face. You didn't do your job the way that you're supposed to do your job, that you know you do your job, and you just didn't do it. There you go.
There was I don't know what to think about it. I mean, there's moments where it sounds authentic, and there's moments when it feels like it's staged. There was a moment that seemed really inappropriate when they fired a ferret round into the window, which is designed to explode and cause pain. And it sounds like you hear Brent Copaka or whoever it is respond in pain, and the officers laugh. Like you hear it, bam, and he goes, ah, and you're like, ha, ha, ha. They laugh like I think it's funny. I'm like, this is not a funny situation. Now, I don't know. Maybe in the stressful situation in that moment, you're like, oh, I don't know. But it's just like, it felt awkwardly inappropriate to be laughing that you just, yeah.
Unless they're laughing, Lee, because they got somebody in the background doing fucking sound effects. You know what I mean? Right, I mean, right. Just saying, Jesus Christ, I'd laugh at that too, but
yeah.
Oh, good one there, Steve. Good job. Do it again.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's crazy.
Look, I mean, if Brian Kohberger, if Kohberger's the guy and everything is on the level, then why all the shadiness? If you've got the evidence and you've got a strong case and everybody's on the up and up, then why all the inconsistencies? Exactly. This is the thing. Yeah. People, the people that get pissed off at those that are questioning it, if it's all solid, prove it to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Don't be shady. Don't hide things. Don't redact a bunch of shit. Don't really, hide all the information and fucking lie about all kinds of shit that happened. And the whole mainstream media is in lockstep. And authors are writing 3 different books that I consumed about this case. Yeah. And it's all the same basic narrative with a few little twists and turns. They each put a little bit of a spin on it. But essentially, it's all the same narrative. Why?
And it falls right in play with the secrecy and the absolute bullshit going on with Kohberger as well. It just falls right in line with it all. It doesn't skip a step. It doesn't fall back. Yeah. It doesn't change faces. It's right in line, the whole thing, all the way through.
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, and again, I mean that kind of answers the question about why they would lie about the Copaka thing or why they wanted him dead. If they had a narrative on Kohberger, and then and then that Copaka is involved, and they could have been trying to cover up that whole connection. One of the things, and I want to make sure you understand, I'm simply repeating things that people have been saying, and a moment that happened in the audio that was weird. There was a couple of officers joking about this event when it was going on. What are you doing next Thursday? Another training exercise? As if they were saying that this was a training exercise. He goes, they're laughing because of how long it was going. And they said, what are you doing next Thursday? Another training exercise? And then there was another moment when someone says, why do they always do these things in the winter? Why can't they do this in the summer? Yep. Do what? Are they talking about crazy guys or training exercises? Like, why don't they do these training exercises in the summer instead of the winter? And because, and it's like, it makes you wonder, like, was this a training exercise that they then spun into making it look like it was a real event, and it was just all, and maybe that was, the whole authenticity was just actors acting out so that the officers would get used to what it would be like to be in a situation. Like, how far would they how far do they go to reenact training for officers or SWAT members to make it as realistic as possible? Is there any possibility they train to this level?
Yeah, they do. I've been involved in an active shooter thing. They'll do the whole 9 levels. They'll bring everyone. They don't do it all the time, but they've done practice scenarios. Like if an active shooter is going into a college, we have nearby colleges, and they'll bring everyone. They'll put drones up. Yeah. They'll have like I said, the first responders on scene is going to be the patrol officers. They're going to be first to go in because for obviously an active shooter, loss of life could go on. So they're going to be the first ones that go in. They're not going to. You're not going to have time to have a whole SWAT team set up. Like, will they come? Yeah, they will come.
And confirm. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say they did it with us, and they brought us clear from the station. Like, it was a real call. They toned us out.
Right.
And wouldn't responds 100%.
And wouldn't they in a really good scenario for training have an actor and see how the officers respond? They would have an actor pretend like they're the suspect and see how the officers are going to respond to that situation. Can they make real world decisions and whatever? Wouldn't they have an actor? Yeah.
Can I put a tinfoil hat on? Am I allowed?
Go ahead. Yeah, you bet.
Okay. This is a very contentious issue, and it's a very hotly debated topic about crisis actors. Okay. Right. Some people believe that's a conspiracy theory. I would argue, of course it's not. They need to train people for operations. And the thing that I always try to get across to people is I want people, don't take my word for things, because most people that think this is horseshit, and a lot of the things I talk about are horseshit, just haven't done research on it. And 10 minutes of research, you could find out a lot of these things are actually not conspiracy theory. So the government is legally allowed to lie to the public. It's written into law. And by default, basic logic, any proxy of the government falls into that same category. So if operations are taking place, and they could be training, they could be other types of operations, these are things that are very plausible. I think they're absolutely real and they happen all the time. But these are things, and I won't even go far at all. I could go for hours about this, but I'm just saying, if you, there's reasons why so many people don't trust the government. It's not, it didn't come out of thin air. There's a historical basis for it.
And I want to say there's a history of hiring specifically college students to do these kind of crisis reenactment kind of things. I remember a long time ago, I won't even say the guy's name because I don't want to get into that guy, but he was showing footage of officers being trained to during like a mass casualty event to round people up and detain them. And they hired actors, and it was shown that these actors were hired to yell things like, "I'm an American citizen, I have rights, you can't do this to me." And they were taught to ignore them and round them up and put them in detention or whatever, even though they're like, I'm an American citizen, I have rights. And they trained these guys to throw these things out at officers and see how they're going to respond to the civil liberties violations, to all these things. And it was all, you saw the behind the scenes of how they were doing that. And they trained college students to do it.
Let me throw something in here to this real quick. When 9/11 happened, we went automatically into crisis training all the time. Okay, we went into terroristic threat training, all of it, guys. And I'm talking like plane crashes at the local airport that we would they would tone us from the station as if it really happened. We would respond to the air base, Air Force Base as well. We had military trainings along with EMS and fire, PD, all of it. We've done multiple trainings in that aspect, and it goes so far as to load actors onto the ambulances and leave with them, do absolute all of that kind of stuff. Have PD doing their thing. People are handcuffed on their knees, blah blah blah. I mean, all of it, every bit of it, like you're filming a movie, for Christ's sakes. It happens all the time, no lie. So, and
an outsider, I would argue, an outsider or the public probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that being just a drill and a simulation and the real thing.
They're not supposed to, Lee. That's the thing. They're supposed to be able to see it, and when people start being alarmed and freaking out, then they say, okay, guys, this is a training exercise.
It was just a drill. Yeah.
That's it. But at that point, though, going through it myself, I almost felt like it, and we're supposed to feel like I was in the middle of a real situation. They want you to react as if it's a real situation. They want you to have that feeling of urgency, anxiety, and all of that to see how you react to it. Facts are facts.
And why wouldn't it be a great thing? Because you want to stress test officers, right? And see how they're going to respond to it. So you might want to put some officers through a training exercise where you're going to see, before they get put into a situation where somebody could get hurt, how will you respond to those kind of things and get you used to seeing how they, because I could imagine that, obviously budgets will limit how often you can do it, but they would want to see how people react in real world situations like that.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, Diego.
I was just going to add, and I'll shut up, I promise. But even after that, they would sit down after these training exercises with a psychiatrist or psychologist involved in a meeting, and they would give the results as to how things went, the things we needed to work on, how people reacted, how to deal with the situation, how did you feel?
Lessons learned. Yep. Lessons learned.
All of that stuff. It absolutely happened. So
and they evaluate the timing and how quickly certain units responded and all of that. Because like one of the big things with like an active shooter, it's different than a normal situation. So
Definitely.
Like cops are, the way that we're trained, like I said, where our main mission is to preserve life. So we're used to, you see someone on the ground, you want to give aid, you want to stop and give aid. But active shooter is different. So this is why they do these kind of like real life type situations where they hire actors and they do these training exercises, because in like an active shooter situation, we can't stop. Like if you're one of the first units on scene, you can't give aid. You can't stop and give aid. You have to we have to take down the threat, because otherwise right. So it's kind of, it's like the opposite of the way that we're normally trained. So
and I'm not saying that happened in this case, but in this kind of scenario, if the guy that was in the hotel room was part of a drill, then the sniper took him out and then everybody gets told that it's over kind of thing would be a good drill scenario kind of thing. Like they're going through the paces, everybody's doing their negotiations and practicing the whole the and then they say, okay, the guy's been taken down, it's over kind of thing. And it would be a pretty good drill scenario. Now, again, you'd have to make sure officers didn't have live rounds to shoot him, but
Right. And to go along with that, just kind of like down the rabbit hole sort of theory, there's no furniture in this apartment, right? And
right.
So
I mean, look,
I'm not saying that I'm, that I believe that he wasn't killed, but it would match. It would go along.
I mean, when there were so many, here's one of the issues. The government largely thinks everybody's a moron, right?
Yeah.
And they can tell you whatever they want to tell you about any given thing. I'm sure everybody here and everybody in the chat has heard of the term agent provocateurs, right? And a lot of these events that we see happening in the world right now are, in my opinion, being deliberately escalated to foment civil unrest. And I believe that's always happened. There's no question about that. We know that for a fact that has happened throughout history. And, let's go way back. Occupy Wall Street. You send agent provocateurs in, they start acting crazy and violent. That gives the grounds to shut down a peaceful protest, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I won't go into this one.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on what's happening with the ICE agents, in my opinion, and I'll leave it at this, I won't go into it. I believe that the ICE agents were brought in not to deport people, not to do what they're supposedly trying to do, but as agent provocateurs. In my opinion, and I've seen a lot of this shit. And so that is why I think the way that I do. It's based on historical facts. So when all these, a case happens, a high profile case, and there's power and money and politics connected to it, I will always question the validity of what we are being told. And I believe we should all do that, because, and some people may push back and say, well, not everything is a conspiracy. No, I don't think people are saying that everything is a conspiracy, but a lot of things are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, this is where I get in trouble when I try to say, I don't want to talk all the time about conspiracies, but by the same token, to be intellectually honest, you have to entertain the possibility that this kind of thing does happen. So if it does, you have to ask yourself, could this be one of those? No, not every case in America is some kind of secret operation that didn't happen, but to be intellectually honest, if there's teeth to it, you should at least review it as an option, because there is a historical basis for it. So then you have to ask yourself, can this be that kind of situation? You have to talk about it and rule it out, because it's something that's happened before. So, yeah.
Good point. Very good point.
Oh, that whole shooting though of Brent, if it was legitimate, if it wasn't legitimate, shame on every fucking buddy in America. Like the amount of emotional wreckage that they've created across the country for people being divided over what happened in Idaho 4 and what happened with Brent Copaka and the hatred and the shame on them if it's all a staged thing and it didn't really happen. But if it did, it's also very tragic because I don't feel like it needed to happen. It was if it happened the way that it sounded like it happened on camera and stuff like that, it sucks. It didn't have to go down that way. And I felt more sympathy listening to Brent Copaka in that situation if it was real, because I just felt like he really was a man that you could have de-escalated, and they just made zero attempts to de-escalate. It's like they wanted to kill him, and they just made zero attempts to de-escalate, and they could have. They could have de-escalated that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Absolutely.
Very sad. This man could have been living his best life right now, and absolutely they did not want it or allow it to happen, and it's sad. It is.
So in 10 years, if we find out that this was all an exercise, how will we feel?
I'll probably be dead in 10 years, so it'll be all good.
Same here, but if we are here, I'll be just as angry as I am about it now, to be honest with you, because it's bullshit. I mean, if what really happened to him, everything that was recorded audio wise and video and all that kind of stuff in it, if it wasn't a real situation and something else happened to him, shame on them all. Shame on every one of them for doing that to anybody's family, friends, loved ones at all. That's just so shameful.
I am going to listen. I am going to watch, and I probably will air for those who want to sit in because it's just optional for members only. I am going to watch a few more body camera footages to see if I can hear Brent Copaka ever utter those words. I'm going to start killing people in the parking lot, because I really don't believe he said it. So I want to see it. And if he does, I'll be the first to tell you all, well, he fucking said it. I heard it. Like, and granted, it'll still leave us with, did an actor say it or did Brent Copaka say it? So you'll still have that issue. But I don't even believe the words were said. I think it was just said over dispatch to give a pretext for the shooting myself. But we'll see if I'm right about that. But what was I going to say with that? So I will be watching more hours of that, but it's just it's hard to listen to, and it's just, I don't know. I feel exhausted. I've been listening to hours and hours and hours. Longest streams I've ever done, and it's a lot of work, and it's taxing. It's taxing to listen to it, especially when you're trying to listen to every little micro word that's being said and trying to hear what the tone was, and it could have been something else. It's mentally taxing to do that for 5 hours at a time. So, but I will do at least a few more, but I think I'm going to take tomorrow off for the most part. I think I'm going to try to take tomorrow off because I got to practice for a drone test so that hopefully I can put a drone up in the air on some of the crime scene places that I'm going to put boots on the ground on us with that. And I want to be able to fly it with my commercial license so that I can film for YouTube and stuff like that. And I have to have a pilot's license for that. So I have to, or a drone pilot license. So I'm studying for that. Tomorrow's going to be pretty much a day off, although I will be here for the live tomorrow. Then you guys got the show for me on Sunday, so I can have my day off with my friends to play cards and try to refocus my brain. So I feel exhausted from this week with the amount of hours I put in. So I'm going to take a kind of a little lighter schedule tomorrow and just take a training day and then followed by a day off. So.
You got your answer to the question you ask me all the time, Lee. How do I do it? You did it. That's how you do it. Just like you
take breaks.
No, the long hours and one after another. Now you've said to me before, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it.
Oh, I did it. Yeah,
you did it. 100%. You get it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you as a parting thought on that. That was time well spent, because I no longer have to have everybody else tell me what they feel about the Brent Copaka shooting. I heard it all the way through with my own ears, and I formed my own opinions. And for me, that's super important. Now, when people say, hey, what do you think? Was that a real event or not? I can speak on a level that's more than just rumor mill. I heard it for myself, and I can give my real feelings because I listened to hours and hours and broke down and rewound things and played it over again. So it felt great. It felt great because I can now speak with confidence on what I feel about Brent Copaka because I listened to it a lot, and we'll listen more even. So I like that. It was time well spent. So
do you have to take because I had at one point did one of the drone operator licenses like several years ago, but there's like different levels to it. Are you doing the commercial one?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So just for those real quick, if you have a drone that like you sell at Costco that's under 250 grams in weight, you don't have to have a pilot's license for it or anything like that. You do have to register the drone, but you don't have to have a pilot, like you're recreational. However, if you put any of that footage on a monetized YouTube channel, you're now commercial. So you same drone, same everything. But if I put any of the footage on my monetized YouTube channel, it's a commercial use now, and I have to have a special license, and it requires a bunch of extra training, and I have to have more rules about what I can and can't do, and it gets, and it's crazy. I got to know stuff about windage and patterns and cloud cover. I got to know that I can fly only 500 feet below the cloud level. So whenever I go flying, I got to check what the local weather says the cloud layer is, and be under 500 feet above that. I have to be within 400 feet of the ground at all times, but I can go over buildings as long as I stay next to the building within 400 feet and above it. I got all these special rules that a hobbyist doesn't have to fucking know any of that shit. But I do now, because if I want to put footage on YouTube, I have to know all these extra rules. So
yeah, I was studying for that, the commercial one several years ago, and then I just didn't have time to.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And now I still get spammed with 10 emails a day from the FAA. Because once you're in the system, you just get constant. So I know when VIPs are flying, where they're going to be.
How big is your drone, Lee?
The drone I bought is a 250 gram or whatever. It's under that Class A smallest drone. I almost, in retrospect, now that I realized how the training is the same for a Class B or Class C or bigger drone, I'm almost wondering if I should have gone with the bigger drone, but because I have to take the same training to do it. So, but I guess in the future, if I wanted to buy a bigger drone, I can. So it's a little tiny drone. I have it nearby, but a cute little drone. It's got a 8K camera, so I can film in 8K.
Those are nice.
Yeah, and you can then slow it down and do slow speed motion flyovers and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about it. But again, all the rules about flying over people and flying over cars and all the, you can't fly over stadiums, you can't fly over this, can't fly in public parks, all these rules that I have to obey. Right. That's a lot. And I got to have it memorized, and I got to take a test at 20 hours of training for the test. And then you got to take the test, and you got to have a certain score, or you don't get your license. And I really want to get that. So
years ago, I was like studying, thinking I was going to get a private pilot's license. So I was doing like flight simulator stuff and the manual. I studying the manual. I got all into that stuff, and I'm like, then when I looked into how expensive it is
expensive
to get flight hours. Yeah, because I looked into the schools and everything.
This is the manual I'm studying right here, which is the Airman's Knowledge Testing Supplement for Sport Pilot, Recreational Pilots, Remote Pilots, and Private Pilots, 2025, with all kinds of charts and color shit and whatever. And I get to take a copy of this book with me to the test, or actually they're going to provide me a copy of this book. But I got to look up charts and fucking air charts and speed charts and this and that and tell them it's complex for fucking.
That's cool,
just
though,
so
man.
Fly a drone.
Yeah, because the experience basis from the testing and you're going to be good at it. So
yeah, hopefully. Hopefully,
yeah.
If I ever had the loot, I would definitely pursue getting a private pilot's license, but it's a pricey endeavor.
It is. Yeah, the test itself was $175. The training course to take it was another $159, which is optional. I could study on my own, but if I want videos and stuff like that for an instructor to teach me how to do it. So I'm already several $100s in. On top of the drone cost $300 something. So I'm almost $1,000 in drone and pilots classes, and the book was another $15. So fuck, it costs money. No, everything. I don't make any money at YouTube.
And they don't pay us anything here. So yeah. I wish they did.
Hopefully I won't fly. There was a moment. Hysterical. There was a moment. The cops had the hardest time getting any technology to work. They finally get a drone working in the hallway, and you can hear it. It's like a bunch of bees, and the drone's flying in the hallway, and they fucking flew it into a wall. It crashed, and it was done. It was hilarious. Like, they took forever to get the drone working. They flew it into the wall, and it was over. That was it. That was the drone for the exercise.
Gotta love it.
All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let us all wrap up for the night. Dago, you want to say any closing thoughts for the night?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Meatballs, denizens. How do you say it?
The denizens, yeah.
Denizens, okay. Yeah, all of you, for joining us here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as I did. Thank you to JJ11, Miss Robin, and of course Lee for leading us into the night and ending the night right, as it says in this little song that I wrote. I appreciate that very much.
Can't wait to hear that.
I appreciate you guys all so very much. Again, thank you to my Blue crew for supporting me and the rest of us as they have. And I thank you to the moderators here at the Devil's Advocate for being as awesome as you are as well. And I'm looking forward to the next time we meet up. So thank you again.
Yes, and again, thank you for Dago's group, all of his people over here. You guys are super supportive of his channel and his mission. Fortunately, his mission and my mission line up very, very well. So it's so cool. Again, like I say, blending these two communities together. And thank you for the super sticker, the $4.99. Appreciate that so much, very much. Every little dime helps pay for those books and those training classes and the pilot license and the on the boots trips that we have to take and all these things. Like I'm negative, trust me. JJ, State of the Deep, what's up for closing?
Well, it was a good discussion, and DA, thanks for digging into that and putting the time in, man. I'm glad I got to at least hear some of it and us discuss it, with you guys. And there's a lot with this case, but once again, thank you to all you guys. Thank you to the Den. Thanks to the Blue crew, and of course all the mods, and I will always be appreciative to be a part of it. So thank you again.
Man, you're welcome. Thank you so much as well. And 1-1, what's up for your closing tonight from New York, live from New York? It's 1-1 signing off.
Thanks to everyone coming out. Keep the questions coming. Thanks, Dago, JJ, Robin, as always. Lee is boss man, of course. Great stuff. Great discussion. We'll be here again tomorrow night, and we have a special show planned for you on Sunday. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be a little epic. So for those of you, maybe go back into your little treasure chest, open up some Nirvana, some Kurt Cobain stuff. We're going to be opening the portal, and that should be some good discussion.
Heading back to 1994.
I know it is funny because there's a part of me that just wants to hear that stuff so bad. I was into Nirvana, I was into the grunge scene, it was all that, but I need to have a night off. So it's like, it sucks because on the one hand, I'm actually interested in your guys' Kurt Cobain stuff, but I need to have a night off sometime. And if I end up watching it later to catch up, I'm just doubling my work on another day. So it's like, I need to have some space where I don't have to worry about my show, and you guys do that for me on Sundays, and I appreciate that very much. So, and I'm glad that you guys are doing it in this format now where you're kind of covering a case I don't cover, so I don't have to feel like I'm behind in my own case. It's a perfect format. It gives everybody a chance to see some new case that I'm not working on, and I'll just kind of let it be your thing. I kind of wish I could hear all about it, but I got to have a day off.
You can always watch the replay.
I can.
There you go.
Robin,
yeah.
What do you got to say?
Well, again, just thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for, liking the video, sharing the videos, getting it out into the interwebs. All the super chats. You guys are all just amazing from both sides of the chat, so to speak. We couldn't do what we do without all you guys. So just please know how much you mean to us. And, thanks for tuning in whenever you tune in, whether it's during the lives, on the replay crew, whatever it is. But yeah, so Sunday is going to be really, really cool. So make sure you even if you're not familiar with the, Kurt Cobain case, make sure you come out and just, there's another one to delve into because the fuckery's real in that one too. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, very interesting.
Oh boy.
So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, panelists. As always, it's been a great night. It's been a pleasure. It seems like I used to cut us off at an hour. Now I'm cutting us off I was cutting us off at 2 hours. Now we're going 2.5. Freaking Dago already is ruining my life. He's going to make me just like him. I'm going to be streaming for fucking 3 hours next, and then 5 hours. And the next thing you know, I'm never going to be off the air. I'm just always on 100%.
Marathon.
Marathon. Oh, what? Sometime we should do a marathon. We need to do a true crime marathon and just be on for 24 hours straight, rotating out. Anyways, okay, I'm ahead of myself. You guys have a great
You
evening.
said
See you tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And till next time, take it easy.
Have a
Good
great
night.
night,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Love you guys.